ability of the rider, and the champion is Candy Queen. Sophie Clowers, the rider. So welcome your champion from the short stirrup division here at the ring. Just to introduce Candy Queen. She carried Sophie Clowers through the division to win. They like to ride her at the farm. She loves kids, is ridden bareback and under saddle. So up at the VIP tent, this is your short stirrup champion just coming past you now. Welcome, Candy Queen. Ridden by number 280, Sophie Clowers. Este Le Timonier rode Absolute Mischief to the reserve champion position in that same short stirrup division. So this pony, Candy Queen, represents all the champions of week 2 here at Wesley Clover Parks for Tournament 2. The Ambassador. From the Adult Amateur Division, last week, week 1 of competition, Alibi LLWB, champion of the Adult Amateur Division in the Hunter Rings. Into the arena now. Looking at the footing here, checking it out carefully. 2 weeks of competition here in Ottawa every year. 2 weeks of fantastic competition coming to an end today. Very shortly we'll have a demonstration here in the arena before we get underway with the class. The final class today, the Grand Prix, the Modified Grand Prix, sponsored by Mark Motors Group. Scheduled start for the class is 2 p.m. First horse on course will be at 2. Premier cheval sur la piste pour le Grand Prix modifié de Mark Motors à 14 heures. So while we have our champions parading, just a thank you and welcome everybody. Thank you for being part of the show. Merci beaucoup de votre assistance au tournée 2 ici à Wesley Clover Parks. Annie, bonjour. We'd like to take a moment to honor the Algonquin Anishinaabe Nation, First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. Ottawa is built on unceded Algonquin Anishinaabe territory. The peoples of the Algonquin Anishinaabe Nation have lived on this territory for millennia. Their culture and presence have nurtured and continue to nurture this land. The City of Ottawa honors the peoples and land of the Algonquin Anishinaabe Nation and honors all First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples and their values past and present and their innumerable contributions to this land. So riders, we ask you to clear the ring. Your arena is closed. The course walk complete. We have a special presentation coming up, and we need the course cleared for that. So wrap up your course walk, make your way to the in-gates if you would please. Our champion coming out, once again, the adult amateur champion from week 1 of competition here at Wesley Clover Parks, making the way to the gate. So thank you, riders. Thank you for making your way out of the ring. Just the final touches being put on the course right now by your course designer, Marina Acevedo, here from Brazil. For this week of competition has provided great courses, challenging all of the riders at all levels of competition in this arena. So don't forget, folks, if you came to watch today, thank you for joining us. Merci beaucoup de votre assistance. If you left someone at home that couldn't make it out here with you, you can tell them that they can watch live webcast. The live stream coming from you here is available to everyone. Just go to the tournament's website, click on the tab that says live stream. It will direct you to joining the Equestrian digital app, where you can see coverage of the event. So they can watch it at home with you. We were very fortunate to have over 500 people online watching for the welcome. A big group also yesterday. So no one has to miss it. So as I mentioned earlier, we do have a special demonstration, and I'm very pleased to welcome James Hood to the broadcast booth. James is High Performance Director at Equestrian Canada, housed here in Ottawa. James will tell us a little bit about the upcoming demonstration. James.
Thanks, Jeff, and it's great to be out on another sunny day here at the Wesley Clover Park. So part of our ongoing work and work that's being done by both coaches, athletes, and supporters is some demonstration events for para sport. Certainly at the FEI level and at the Paralympic Games level, there is already a fully integrated and included sport called para dressage. It includes a classification system, and Canada has actually been a gold medalist and multiple medalist at the Paralympic Games in that event. Now, with any sport, there are several other disciplines that we look at, and there has been requests and push forward to do some inclusion into other disciplines and other sports. And certainly the work we're going to see today is work being done by Jack Goldberg, and certainly also his riding compatriot today, Zoe Gottwald, who are both competing in the regular system and regular sport for jumping, but are also working on some of the initiatives to provide recognitions and opportunities for athletes with impairments in a standalone class and standalone structure. In order for that to happen, there's many steps that are included and engaged with Equestrian Canada and globally to come up with and establish a sport classification system, establish and look at the safety and impacts on the sport itself, so that when we do look at an inclusion and when we look at compensatory aids, so that would be changes in rein, changes in stirrups, changes in saddle structures, to allow a safer opportunity for both the human and the horse partner in the pairing. So today what we'll be looking at is both Jack and Zoe will be in the ring, and their coaches will be talking them through and doing some intro components as they're riding. Jack joins us and currently is riding Clementine RS, and 17-year-old Jack trains out of the Millerbrooks Farms over in Perth. Jack's impairment is something known as hemiplegia. And what that means is that his impairment impacts one side of his body more than the other. So that will impact his ability to hold reins, proprioception, as well as his contact with the horse and his ability to use stirrups. So all of those have an impact on how he and his mount Clementine will be able to manage the course and move around. And so his coaching and the coaching group out at Millerbrook Farms will have worked with him and worked with the horse as they look at how you support Jack to be able to be a competitive jumper on the system. Now Jack has had the privilege to also do a demonstration event here last week, but he was also included in an event down in Lexington, Kentucky, where there were 80,000 spectators for the inaugural demo event down there. And so we are looking at the sport continuing to grow that way. Now, this will be Zoe's first demo event on para jumping, but she is a regular competitor and is actually here at the Ottawa Summer Tournaments competing in both the 0.9 and the 1 meter divisions. And is working forward on both sides of the equation. Now, Zoe currently trains with Brandon Hall and with Ashley Saguchi at the Lake House Stables. And then she is currently riding Twist Again. Zoe is 16, and her impairment is she's actually a lower or something called a below knee amputee, which also means that this will impact her abilities to be in saddle, control her stirrups, and be able to have contact with the horse. And so her coaches and trainers will also be working with the horse and the human as they look at how we make those components fit and how we provide safe opportunities for athletes. Now, the overall strategy is part of some ongoing work that's being done by Equestrian Canada with regards to the integration and inclusion of individuals with impairments in any of the disciplines. But it still comes back to an evaluation and an opportunity, and then being able to participate with the long-term goal of being able to create more opportunities and more competitive events. Now, in the ring today, joining us will be both Ian Miller from Millerbrook Farms, Captain Canada, and certainly a great spokesperson for the sport. And he will be talking and doing some of the demo work with Jack. And also in the ring will be Brandon Hall, who is Zoe's trainer and coach, and they will also be providing feedback. I'm going to throw it to the ring, and over to you, Ian Miller. And so we can all see the handoff of Mike to Ian, and entering in through the in gate is Zoe and her coach, Brandon Hall.
Brandon, give you the mic and Ian will cue you when you want to. Good?
Okay. Here we go. We have our para riders. We have Zoe and we have Jack. And they're going to do a little demonstration for you. And so let's just warm up a little bit, Jack and Zoe over jump number 11 here. So either lead, land, go right, come around, land, go left, come around. Let's do that a couple of times. With me in the ring today is Brandon Hall, who is one of Zoe's trainers. And I have my daughter, Amy Miller, who's off to the World Equestrian Games, and Kylina Chadlack, who are part of Jack's training team. Yeah, keep going, Jack. And turn right, Zoe. Good. And Jack, you can turn right this time. Very good. And this time, Zoe, turn left. And hold up, Zoe. Wait, Jack, good, good. Turn left and hold up. So these two young riders are quite incredible. How they've learned to compensate and to do what they do, and it's been a very, very exciting challenge for all of us as trainers to work with them, because it's required us to develop new skills and new ways of doing things to help them. And Brandon, perhaps you could tell us a little bit about Zoe.
Happily, yeah. Zoe came to us kind of the beginning of the fall of last year at Lake House Stables and was assessed by the owner, Ashley Sakaguchi Newell, to try and find a horse for her to do the level in which we were hoping to compete with her. So this year is the .9 season and try and see if we can get her to the meters successfully. We're here for this week at Wesley Clover Parks doing the .9s, and she'll do the meters as well on the Silver Series. So we found a great former eventer that has impeccable flat work training, and that's really helped us to kind of ease Zoe into something that has rideability, grow some comfort, and of course those great eventers, they aren't scared. So we can point, shoot, and get back to our flat work, and he's a lovely animal. So the long and short of it is really Zoe is a para rider essentially. She is missing the left leg below the knee, and kind of the points we've had to focus on as trainers of her is getting that connection to the horse's left side. Lead changes, lateral work, getting them straight, and Zoe's been great.
And it just goes to how wonderful these horses are, that they will work with the human and allow this all to happen and learn new ways of doing things and do it beautifully for Zoe. The way these two riders ride, you'd say, well, they look pretty good to me, and they are darn good despite, and they have our great admiration. I'm going to pass the mic to Amy Miller, and she's going to tell you a little bit about Jack.
Jack is an exceptional guy. We've been working together for a couple years now, and the skills that he has learned on the horse's back, I think, are quite amazing. Different things that he couldn't do when he first started with us, holding the rein properly on the one side was very difficult for him. Over the past year, he has really gained a lot of strength in that right hand and is able to control these horses on both sides much better than he did when we first met. But I think aside from what Jack does on the horse's back, I think one of the things I admire most about him is his inspiration to start this movement and his commitment to getting exposure to para show jumping for other kids like him. And I mean, it's exemplified by the fact that last week he was the only one doing a demonstration, and this week we have two. So I want to say thank you to the Ottawa Horse Show for letting this happen, because the more this happens, the more the word gets out there, the bigger the movement gets, and more kids like these two have access to this wonderful life with these wonderful horses.
Very good. Thank you, Amy. So, Jack, you're going to lead us off. Our course is jump number 11 here. Then jump number there, the next class, jump number 1, the RBC, over to the jump number 2, Giant Tiger, left turn to the vertical, and straight ahead to number 4. And that'll be your course. So, demonstrate, please.
Oh, thank you, sir. I've been just sleeping on the couch.
Yeah. Very good, Jack. Excellent. All right. Zoe, can you top that? We're going to see.
Ian asked me to kick in the ground line.
Okay, so Zoe has a good idea of the pace at this stage in her education, and the horse is very reactive, so we're going to see how this goes. In true girl power fashion, Zoe has the ability to just kick it on and maybe go a little quicker than we would like or have planned. So we'll see if she can keep it organized, keep it rhythmic. Very good. Now she has a decision. Is she going to go wild and do it in the 6, or are we going to be organized and go in that 7?
Riders up in the 7 man. We are looking at 20 minutes to start time at the moment. Reminder that we did have the one ad.
Very good, Zoe.
Zoe, that was first rate, and we have Tracy and Mike here who are the judges. What say you?
I think it's a tie.
I think they both really were exceptional today. So.
I agree totally. I think we all agree. Now, Zoe and Jack have a dream, and they want para-show jumping to be part of the Para-Olympics. And they're driving that hard. It's a tough uphill battle. It's not easy to get the Canadian Olympic Association, the International Olympic Association to do things. It's a big organization to move. But if anybody can move it, it's people like Jack and Zoe. And our great admiration go out to you, and our thanks for doing this demonstration today. And Tracy wants a few words with both of you.
And just before we turn over to Tracy in the ring, just a reminder, if you are interested in more information on athletes with a disability participating in equestrian sport, please reach out to Equestrian Canada or your provincial equestrian organization. And now down to ringside with Tracy, Jack, and Zoe.
Both of you before we start. Up is on and down is on. Okay? So we're going to start with Jack. Ready?
Yep.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to Wesley Clover Parks for the final day of competition of our 2 weeks of the Ottawa Summer Tournaments. I am privileged to be in the center of the ring here today with both Jack and Zoe, who are going to say a little bit about the sport and what they are driven to see change and happen. So Jack, you joined me last week, and you were kind enough to join me a little bit. We spoke about these things last year, so I welcome you back. Could you tell us a little bit about, you know, we watch from the side, and both of you ride so well and are so accomplished that we aren't always sure how your health challenges affect you. So Jack, if you could share a little bit about that so that people really get the sense of how amazing it is that both of you compete on the level playing field with able-bodied athletes.
Yeah, of course. So first of all, I'd just like to say thank you so much for having me back, and thank you so much for the entire show for letting this happen again. And just to answer your question about, you know, some of the health effects that me and Zoe both share as para riders, that not every other rider would necessarily have to face is, you know, for me specifically, I know it's different for every para rider, but for me specifically, I have a lot of weakness on my right side compared to my left. So sometimes that can be a little bit challenging because sometimes my left side overpowers, you know, my left leg overpowers my right leg and my left rein overpowers my right rein. So that can kind of affect the straightness, which can just affect my entire ride. But with the help of my amazing trainers, we've learned to kind of adapt to that with specific adaptations. So for example, my Velcro on my right rein, and through my old coach, Taylor Brooks, in the past, she helped me with a lot of adaptations as well. And I think it's just, even though para riders do share some of the same difficulties, I think it's really important to know that every rider learns best with other adaptations, and I think it's just really important for them to find what works best for them.
Well, you know, I said it before and I'm going to say it again. Both of you, you are amazing. You know, we have nothing but the utmost regard, and you are truly fantastic athletes. Zoe, did you want to share a little bit about your journey and how your leg affects your performance with the horse?
Yeah, for sure. So I first started riding in Alberta at my old Barn Sweet Talk stables, and they helped me a lot with finding me the right pony. I started off with a pony to help me with my left leg. I'm a below the knee amputee, and a lot of horses, or not a lot, but some horses can be stubborn depending on if you need more leg on one side than the other. And I usually ride with a spur on my left leg or a crop in my left hand just to have a little bit more of aid when riding. And then I'm now at Lake House Stables, and they've helped me a lot with figuring out equitation and different skills to help me ride better and use my left leg better. And they found me a great horse that I can do that with, who knows how to do it and listen to me really well.
Thank you so much, Zoe. We appreciate you doing the demo today. Jack, did you want to close with a few words of why you're leading the charge so strongly to have para show jumping in the Paralympics? Share a little bit about that. I know you are a driven young man. 17 here and 16, I believe, are our two ages. So I give it to you.
Yeah, even though, you know, I rode alone in the para demo earlier this week, it really couldn't be possible without other para riders like Zoe, which I'm so happy that she was able to join us this week. And even though it is a para rider driven movement, it really couldn't, you know, happen. It really couldn't be pushed forward without the support of the entire equestrian community. So, I mean, even though I do advocate a lot for the para movement on an individual level, it really does take a small village, and in this case it's comprised of the entire equestrian community and other para riders like Zoe and the riders I've ridden with before. So I'm just so thankful to have the equestrian community back me and other para riders such as Zoe on this. So thank you so much, everybody.
Well, thank you both. You're both tremendous inspirations to everybody. We appreciate your time, and we know you do a lot of work yourself with the War Amps, and Jack with your drive to get it there. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy. We're honored to have this demonstration here today, and a special thanks today to James Hood, High Performance Director at Equestrian Canada. James, in a very busy time of his life, getting ready for teams going to the World Equestrian Games, one of the biggest games we go to. And thank you to Equestrian Canada for their undying support. So again, ready for the Mark Motors Meter 40 Modified Grand Prix next, a $10,000 purse.
Okay.
Une bourse de $10 000 pour le Grand Prix modifié. Ici dans la carrière Grand Prix. Mark Motors is Ottawa's leading luxury car dealership, whose showrooms house an impressive inventory of Porsche and Audi models. For fast service, great vehicles to buy or lease, choose a Mark Motors. So back down to Tracy on the field of play. We'll have a description of the course and a few words from Captain Canada.
We've been so fortunate here at Wesley Clover Parks the last 2 weeks to have Mr. Ian Miller join me here in the center of the ring and give his expertise and his insight into the tracks that have been built now for 2 weeks. I think the first thing, Ian, we'd like to know about is your take on the difference between this grass field, which there aren't so many left anymore, and the fiber footing that we see in the all-weather ring, which is on the other side of the VIP tent.
Exactly, and there are practical reasons for that evolution, and that is that grass footing takes a lot of maintenance and is very, very difficult to get right and very difficult to keep right. The sand and fiber footing is a very, very consistent footing. It's now, it must be used in championships, international championships now. The reason being that footing will be the same for the last horse as the first horse. It doesn't matter what the weather does, it's not going to affect it. It could rain for the next hour and give it 10 minutes and that beautiful all-weather ring over there is good to go. If it rains for an hour on this ground, it will be different than it is right now. And the definition of good footing is it should absorb concussion without robbing power. And good grass footing does that the best. When I walk on this ground, it feels like I'm on a spring. And so the horses feel exactly the same way. They don't mind landing on it, and they're very light off the ground. It's very easy for them to jump off. So concussion is absorbed beautifully, and power is not compromised. As I say, the sand and fiber We call it a, well, okay, I would call this a formal ring. It's a formal setting. When horses walk in this in-gate and take a look around, they're impressed. Their eyes are open. The sand and fiber footings are pretty generic internationally. They're the same all the time. So it takes a certain different preparation and training to come onto grass than to go onto sand and fiber. One other little difference is we use screw-in corks. The shoes have threaded holes in them, and we can put various size steel studs in there so they can hold the ground depending how wet it is. Sand and fiber, you rarely, almost never need a stud. That ground holds perfect. So it's a more practical, functional footing, the sand and fiber, but I would tell you most riders just adore and love to ride on a good grass field. And basically there's 3 of them left in Canada, and in my opinion, this is the best one. So there you go. As to today's track, we start off with the RBC spread jump over here. Nice introductory jump, not too wide, over to Giant Tiger. Not a related distance at all, just a nice gallop over here. Left swing, the orange spread jump straight ahead to the white rails, number 4. Around the corner, this is called a 1-stride combination, an upright coming in, they take 1 stride, power coming out, and then a related distance, just a balancing distance to the water tray. We talked about that yesterday. If that water tray wasn't there, that jump would probably not fall down all afternoon, but with the water tray, the horses drop their eyes, look down at it, and the front rail will come down the odd time. Left turn to the Brook Street vertical, again a related distance again to number 8, a bit of a jumping effort. A not long enough gallop over to the triple combination, a spread jump, jumping in. Then the riders will balance the horse for 2 strides to the upright, a little power coming out. Around the corner, by now these horses are starting to think this is getting to be hard work and it's going on a little long, so they need to be organized and kept on the job and concentrating. The horse square upright on down to number 11, which is a good eye full, and then around to what we call the Welsh Dragon. And I said to our course designer, Marina, you might have ended this course at number 11 because that Welsh Dragon is quite an eyeful. It's a short rail, which makes it a little more difficult. It's past the in-gate, and all these horses know exactly where they came in, and it's very, very colorful. But she knows what she's doing, so over to her. I think it'll work very nicely. As a rider, I would be right on the job for the Welsh Dragon, making sure it would happen. I think this is a lovely course, and I think we're going to see 3 or 4 clean and have a wonderful jump off.
Thank you, Ian. Isn't it amazing how these course designers do this? Here we have Marina Azevedo of Brazil, FEI level 4. And she has done a fantastic job. You know, I think a lot of people out there don't really understand. There's a computer program. She's been overlaying the templates to make sure that the jumps are all in different places for every class so that she protects the grass. And although this is a engineered field, there's drainage in it, it isn't just a grass field, it's amazing the difference between the course design in here and the course designer's job in the all-weather, where she doesn't need to move the jumps as much, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. We watch the takeoffs and landings very carefully because that's where all these horses are going to put their front feet right here and their hind feet right here, and they're going to land in the same spot. And they can only do that so many times on a grass field, no matter how good it is, before you have to move the jumps. Whereas sand and fiber, you take the rails down, run the drag through, and you're good for another whatever number of horses you want. Speaking of course designers, we are so fortunate in this day and age. The global training of these course designers is so extensive that we start at good with course designers. There's nothing lower than very good, and it just goes right on up to excellent. And today we have an excellent course designer in Marina. She's one of top FEI course designers and uses this field beautifully, as Tracy said. And again, what a good course designer should do is they should get us a good competition, but they also have a responsibility to the horses in this class to keep them safe and hopefully educate them and make them a better horse. So even if you don't get a prize or win a competition, you'd like to go away thinking, well, my horse learned something today because that was an excellent course. It asked some very tough questions, and I'm going to go home and I'm going to set this up and I'm going to practice, because the next time I see Marina, I'm going to show her that I've done my homework and I can do it. And that's exactly how it should be.
Absolutely, sir. We are always so lucky to have your insight, and we certainly appreciate it. I know you are also a very proud father. I know that we've got the World Championships coming up, and your daughter Amy will be there. Tell us a little bit about that journey.
Well, started many years ago. I was there when she was born. Actually, I wasn't. I was showing in Ocala at the time. She was born in Ottawa, and she's never quite forgiven me for being at a horse show when she was born. But that aside, yes, she's off to the World Equestrian Games, which is essentially the same formula as the Olympics, and it is the same level of difficulty. So really, she's going, you could call it an in-sport Olympics. And that's in, 4 weeks, 1 to 4 weeks in Norway. And we are sending a wonderful team, 4 fantastic lady riders, and led by our fantastic new chef to keep, Eric Lamaze. And we have Tiffany Foster, Erin Ballard, Amy Miller, and Beth Underhill. And that is a powerhouse team. They represented us in Rome and Le Beau, France earlier this year with stunning results. I mean, the whole world's going to be coming at them, but they're going to give it a heck of a go, I'll tell you that. And Amy's got a wonderful horse in Truman. We've had him for quite a few years now, and he knows his game. She and that horse have a wonderful relationship. There is reason for optimism, let's just say that. And that's the best you can have going into any of these competitions, because in our sport we lose way more than we win. We might show 10 months of the year, and really a very good rider only wins 5 or 6, maybe 5 or 6 Grand Prix in the whole year. So that means they lose way more than they win. And so we have to be very resilient mentally to keep coming back and trying. And the sport has gotten so strong globally. There are literally thousands of top horse rider combinations. And there was a day that if you jumped your double clear round, you probably were going to be first, second, or third. But now in most competitions, there's going to be 8 or 10 clear rounds, and they're going to go really fast. And you're going to have another 6 or 7, and that's going to be the competition. So it's a really tough sport, and full marks to our 4 ladies representing Canada. And I would tell you, I believe they have an excellent chance of a medal.
That's excellent. I know that we are super proud of those ladies. Go girls. And thank you so much, Mr. Miller. And Jeff, back up to you.
Thank you, Tracy. And those of you watching at home and here with us live, you now know a lot more about show jumping than most people in the world after that clinic from Ian Miller in the ring. Thank you, Ian. We are set to get underway with the Mark Motors Modified de Grand Prix set at 1.40 m by Marina Acevedo here from Brazil. 88 seconds is the time allowed on the first round. 52 seconds for the jump off. Everyone that goes clear in the first round returns at the end for the jump off, the very exciting end of the competition. So ladies and gentlemen, I'd ask you to rise and remove your hats as we start the competition this afternoon with our national anthem. And thank you to the Royal Canadian Mounted Police Band and soloist for that rendition of our national anthem. Ready to get underway now with the Mark Motors Group Meter 40 Modified Grand Prix. First at the arena now is an add to your list, number 572. Le 572, première pour le Grand Prix modifié de Mark Motors, Miss Peggy Sue and Vanessa Robert.
Right now I have Mel on deck. Chloe in 1, Hyde in 2, Christine in 3, Beatrice 4, Riley 5, Kelly 6, Jessie 7, Michaela 8, Michelle 9, Sophie 10.
So again, for those of you watching at home today, Miss Peggy Sue on course right now with Vanessa Robert, number 572. That was an add to the class. We plan to have Lauren Hunkin with us here today for the color commentary. Unfortunately, she has been delayed, so we'll rely on my commentary as the riders come in and out of the ring and try to keep you informed of any changes as they come up. A perfect day for competition here at Ottawa. Beautiful weather again. A little bit warm. Should take its toll on the riders. If you were with us earlier, you heard the introduction from Ian Miller, an expert description of the course and the conditions. So enjoy watching at home. Thank you for joining us. Cross the finish line, clear and just in the time. 87-86 on the clock, 87-86. On commence avec un parcours parfait, sans faute pour Miss Peggy Sue et Vanessa Robert. Again, home in 87-86 to a time allowed of 88.
I'm ready for Mel. Mel to the ring.
So Marina Acevedo from Brazil, our course designer, providing this beautiful course for us. She'll be happy with that first ride going clear here for Mark Motors. Mark Motors, Ottawa's leading luxury car dealership, sponsors of this class, the modified Grand Prix, with a $10,000 purse, une bourse de $10,000 pour le Grand Prix modifié, commandité par Mark Motors. Up to the gate now, number 442, le dossard 442 à la porte d'entrée. This is Impromptu. Impromptu is a 14-year-old Belgian warm blood gelding. The rider and owner is Kathy Blundell, propriétaire et cavalière. Impromptu, hongre belge de 14 ans.
7, Michelle 8, Sophie 9, Stephanie Colucci, and 10 away.
So again on course right now, Impromptu and Kathy Blundell with her Belgian warm blood, the 14-year-old. Nicely through the combination in front of the VIP stand. And unfortunately a rail down here at Horsewares. That's jump 10 on the course today. Coming to the end now, the Dragon at the end of the course. Over the last and across the finish line, 87-27 with 8 faults. 8 points de pénalité. So unfortunately rails down today at 3 and near the end of the course at 10. Le 3 et le 10 sont tombés. Moving on to number 253 now, le 253. Over by the VIP stands. Next on course we'll see Armagedic. This is a 12-year-old Celle Français gelding. The ride for Chloe Parker, owned by Clara Simard. So we've seen 2 in the ring and 2 have gone clear so far, so we are guaranteed to jump up. The correction there, we had 2 rails down on the second. Still looking for that jump off. We'll see what we can do here. A little bit of a miscue there coming into the third, and sorry about that bad information I gave you earlier. The things getting just a little bit busy here in the booth, thinking about another class. So far we've had 1 clear ride. That was for Miss Peggy Sue and Vanessa Robert, and an 8-fault ride for Impromptu and Kathy Blundell. Chloe on course right now. This is Chloe Parker. Trains with Paul Halpern. And again, a miscue here coming into the triple, and that will call for a stop. So the clock stopped and the rebuild here, an expensive mistake coming into the triple, so that will cost her 4 penalty points or 4 faults, and 6 seconds will be added to the clock. Has to be completely rebuilt for her. She'll get the signal again from Kathy Harper, the chief judge up here in the booth, and then start back through the combination at the A element. And put that mistake behind her nicely through the combination on her second attempt. Coming to the horseware jump at 10. And then the very busy jump here, the new jump this year, the jigsaw puzzle. She's over that. And then a long sweeping turn to the left around the polo mallets. Bring her to the dragon at the end of the course. 91.91 on the clock, and that is with the 6 seconds added for the rebuild for 4 time faults, 20 on the jumps, total de 24 points de pénalité, 4 de temps, 22 sauts. Le chrono de 91-91 avec les 6 secondes ajoutées pour la reconstruction du triple. So checking the course now. Our jury will make sure everything is rebuilt before we send the next on course. It will be number 364. Third in the original order, 364, Jeffrey Jardin and Hyde Moffat. Jeffrey Jardin, the 8-year-old Dutch warm blood gelding, owned by Ariel Grange, ridden by Hyde Moffat. So winner of yesterday's Grand Prix on course now.
Riley 2, Kelly 3, Jessie 4, Michaela 5, Michelle 6, Sophie 7, Stephanie 8, Hyde 9, Karen 10, Paul 11, Jake 12.
That was a clear round. Parcours sans faute pour Hyde Moffat and Jeffrey Jardin, 80.89 on the clock. So our jump crew looking for a lost shoe in the arena. We'll see if we can find it. Keep things safe for everyone before we send in the next ride, or at least before we start them on course. So they will sweep the arena right now looking for that shoe. And we've got it here, just in front of jump 4. Thank you. Merci. So 2 clear rides. We have a jump off now. Looking for another one here from number 541. Number 541, on course dans le 541, Caballero 2, a 12-year-old Holsteiner gelding, ridden by Christine Wiggins of Crown Meadows, 5th in last week's modified Grand Prix. So for those of you watching at home, we had Lauren Hunkin with us throughout the week and last week. She's been great up here in the booth. Unfortunately, got tied up, couldn't be with us today. But we'll have Jay Hayes with us in just a few moments, probably for the next ride, and he'll give us the color on the course. Right now, watching number 5, 41, Caballero 2, and Christine Wiggins, the entry of Crown Meadows, coming to the triple combination at the front of the VIP stand. Big jump over the first, calmly through the rest of it. Nice job on course.
For folks who also have horses over in the all-weather ring, they're getting close to their next walk, getting very close to the next walk in the all-weather ring. Meanwhile, I have Beatrice here on deck.
Looks like Christine is having a wonderful round here. The horse is jumping.
Sophie 6, Stephanie 7, Hyde 8, Karen 9, Paul 10, Jade 11. 12 trips till the jump-off change. 2 clear so far.
And across the finish line, 84.7, 8 on the clock for Christine Wiggins and
great.
Caballero 2.
One down over that colored obstacle number. But jump fantastic. What do you think there, Jeff?
Nice stride on the course today. Jay Hayes is joining us up here in the booth. He'll be talking to you at home. Over to number 388 next, at 388. This is 5th in the original order. Levaro Z. And Beatrice Davio, owner and rider.
So with Beatrice now in the ring, I have Riley on deck, Kelly in 1, Jessie in 2, Michaela in 3, Michelle in 4, Sophie in 5, Stephanie 6, Hyde 7, Karen 8, Paul 9, Jade 10. 11 trips till the jump-off change. Now, got the 2 clear so far. Reminder that at the end of the class, we're going to be riding the top 8 for ribbons.
So at the meter 40 modified Grand Prix, sponsored by Mark Motors, young lady that trains with Francis Lamontagne, Beatrice, looks like a very athletic, nice horse. Let's see how she does. Little rub there over the first fence. It's a great field to jump on. As you all know, we have very few grass fields left in Canada. We have to go to Spruce Meadows to find any. So it's lucky that we're here. Through the triple, the horse has a beautiful gallop. Travels well underneath himself, lots of energy. She's right on the time allowed. Little spooky there, pushed at him pretty good. Let's see how he does at the colored fence. Seems to be causing some problems today. Nicely over, inside turn. Last jump and we're clear, another one.
Clear round, 84.22 on the clock, 84.22 le chrono pour Béatrice Davio et Levaro Z. 3 have gone clear. We have 3 for the jump-off. 3 qui reviendront au barrage jusqu'au moment. Vanessa Robert, Hyde Moffat, and now Béatrice Davio. Number 778 will jump next, Jay. At the arena now, this is Riley Poole-Coley. She's the owner and rider of Clearshin 32. Trains with Susie Niles. Clearshin 32 is a 12-year-old Westphalian mare.
I now have Kelly on deck, Jessie in 1, Michaela in 2, Michelle in 3, Sophie in 4, Stephanie 5, Hyde 6, Karen 7, Paul 8, Jade 9. 10 trips till the jump off. Now we've got 3 clear so far.
This horse has jumped quite well this season. Kylie is a up-and-coming professional rider and nice horse. Delivers some good rounds. She can hold it all together here. We'll have another clean, I think. A little wobbly down that line, but she recovered nicely. Again, it's a nice modern horse, good gallop behind. She sits a little bit back in the back seat and drives him a little bit, but he normally gets way up over. Like that. Beautiful job. Look down a little bit at the Liverpool, had a hind rub, but stayed up. Horses are jumping good today. Yesterday we had a little problem in the Grand Prix, but some of them come back and jumping quite nice. Triple combination, no problem. And the colored jump causes a bit of a problem. Riley stays on. She's going to take her 4 faults. Some time added. A little too active down that line. The horse backed up and didn't quite get there.
So, Jay, a little bit tough a situation here. It kind of knocks you off your course. The rider just has to get back together now, or how do you deal with a situation like this?
You shake it off, and then you head right back. Use a little bit more leg maybe, and hopefully the horse regroups right away.
So what do you think? That jump a little looky with all the colors? It's new this year.
Yeah, it's new. The jumps here, all the jumps are quite beautiful. That one is a little bit loud, and it says quite strong things, and we've had problems with it all week.
So back to the field of play now, and the bell has rung. Riley will head back on course.
Nice job recovering, heading to the last jump. And looks like she'll take her 4 faults plus some time faults.
Crossing the finish line, the clock stopped at 1:01:46 with the time taken on course and the 6 seconds added. 14 time faults, just the 4 jumping faults. That was the only error on course today at 11. So adds 18 altogether today for Clearchen and Riley Poole-Coley. And we continue with the first half of the Mark Motors Modified Grand Prix with a $10,000 prize purse with number 578. 578 is Foolproof, owned by Robin Hanna, ridden by Kelly Robinson. Foolproof is a 7-year-old, a Canadian warm blood mare. This pair were 9th in last week's Modified Grand Prix.
Yeah, I believe Kelly bred this horse, and she's bringing it along quite nicely.
Jump crew, can you roll the front rail, please, on number 11? The puzzle. Just roll the rail so it's bowed down. Thank you.
So I now have Jessie on deck, Michaela in 1, Michelle in 2, Sophie in 3, Stephanie 4, Hyde in 5, Karen in 6, Paul in 7, Shad.
It's a small horse, but it's got lots of character. Kelly's a brilliant rider, experienced. Lots of horses here at the show. Always gives it her best go. Beautiful balance, quick front end. Skims the jumps a little bit, but normally jumps clean. A little bit of action there behind. Double kick, quite a nice trier. Yeah, the water jump with the Liverpool set behind the rails. Sometimes the horses spook down, look down, go past the distance a little bit, and they'll have a front rub. That's exactly what happened there. Triple combination, quite nice, efficient. Again, it's efficient. It's a very efficient jumper, and it'll learn how to deal with those Liverpool, the course designer's tricks. And here we go. We'll see how he responds to the color jump. Looking quite hard. but just solved the problem by jumping a little bit higher. Beautiful round, too bad.
Over the last and across the finish line, 79.10 on the clock, 79.10. Time was great. 88 seconds is the time allowed. Le temps alloué 88 secondes. Le chrono de 79.10 pour Kelly Robinson est foolproof. Une barre tombée au Liverpool, just at the water jump, or the Liverpool jump number 6. The rail came down for the 4 faults.
Yeah, just look down a little bit at that water jump. Catches some horses by surprise. And this is a 7-year-old homebred. Kelly's taking her time, doing a lovely job with it. It jumps in beautiful technique. It's very efficient, and I think she'll have great fun in the future with it.
And Jay, as you were telling the folks at home, the placing of that tray does affect the jump.
Yeah, the course designer puts it behind the jump, so they spook down, they go past the distance a little bit, and the front end catches it. They'll have to learn that technique and jump up to solve that problem.
So we're coming to the midpoint of this first round of the Modified Grand Prix presented by Mark Motors with number 264. 751, correction there, we had a change in the order. Number 751 voluntarily moving up in the order today is Espoir Ardent. And Jesse Butler.
Horse has a little bit of a high head carriage, a little bit difficult in the mouth. But Jesse seems to be handling it quite well. Yeah, just trailed its hind end over the A part of the vertical. And again, peaks down at the Liverpool and quickly adds another 4 faults to her score. Yeah, nicely through the triple combination. Again, very efficient. Didn't waste a lot of energy jumping real high in the air. But that's what you want. You don't want them to always jump the top of the standards. And she rode it a little bit hard. You have to ride a little hard. The horses back off a little bit there. Another four faults. On a bad luck last jump down. That's too bad.
Coming home with 16 faults today, 86.75 is the time. 86.75 au chrono pour Jesse Butler et Espoir Ardent, avec un total de 16 points de pénalité de saut. « 11, 12, 5 ans et 8 ont tombé. Back to the original order now, halfway through this round, first round of the Grand Prix modifié with number 264, le dossard 264 sur le parcours. Michaela Sancho is the owner and rider. This is Clarence NT, a 13-year-old Holsteiner gelding.
Big, impressive Holsteiner-looking horse. Big, strong gallop. Michaela also trained by Paul Halpern. He's got a good selection here today, this week, last 2 weeks. And just a little bit too much connection there. The head got too high, went past the distance, had 4 faults. Nice recovery, and if she wants to stay and get a good ribbon, there's not too many cleans. She needs to stay on the time allowed because AM5, they place it by the faults, by the time and faults.
So, Jay, the time allowed here is 88 seconds. How's that look for you on this course particularly?
Mariana seems to be quite lenient with her time. She's not as tough as some of the other South American course designers, Leopoldo and Guillermo, but she's a brilliant course designer. This is a hard ring to design, and the shape is kind of funny. And she uses the ring in such a nice way, lets the horses gallop, and it's been a pleasure to jump her courses all week. And
very unfortunate here at the end of the course, as Jay was just mentioning.
At the last jump by the in-gate.
And any kind of fall on course, unfortunately, eliminates the rider, so there'll be no score for Michaela Sancho and Clarence today. But you did see the rider wisely wearing one of the new air vests that are available to our athletes in all disciplines. It's attached to the saddle by a lanyard, and as soon as the rider comes out of the saddle toward the ground, it activates and inflates and protects the upper body. So a nice hand of applause, please, for the rider on a disappointing day.
So that's another trick of the course designer. Not only is it by the in-gate, the last jump, but it's a narrow, spooky-looking jump, and it looks like some of these horses are afraid of the dragon.
That dragon has done its job today. It's eaten up a few people in the classes this morning as well. Moving on to number 763 now, le 763. This is Callie Hope Z, a 10-year-old Zanggescheide gelding. And the rider is Michelle Matthews, also the owner.
Michelle is an up-and-coming young rider. Not so young, actually. Her and her husband Shane operate a great business. They train a lot of horses, sell a lot of horses, a little bit of course design now. Part of the community here in Ottawa. It's a big horse, and he's a little bit cold, and she's pushing him a little bit hard, and then they start to get uncareful at the jumps. Starting to regroup as it goes around, getting its act together here at the end.
6 trips till the jump-off change with 3 clear still so far.
See what it does coming down. She's pushing hard. And a little rub at B, but clean. Very nice. Yeah, nice round.
82.68 on the clock. 8 faults on that ride, so no chance at the jump off for this pair. 3 have qualified. We'll see Vanessa Robert, Hyde Moffat, and Beatrice Davio so far qualifying for the jump off with their clear rounds. 6 left to jump in the first round of the modified Grand Prix. First of those 6 at the ring now is number 501, Serena, co-owned by Sophia Nio and Ian Miller. Sophie Nio in the irons.
This horse had some decent results the last couple of weeks. Sophie's been training hard on him, getting some good results, good performances. 7th in last week's modified Grand Prix, so let's see what she does here today. Horse carries a very good balance. Obviously, Ian Miller trained Sophie, and he's a perfectionist, so all the horses normally are broke on the flat quite well, but just didn't follow through with its hind end there. Way up over that jump. Sophie's riding it quite well. She can hang on to 4 faults. She might get a good piece of it. Coming to the triple combination. Way up over A. Nice over B. And really over C. Quite nice watching that horse jump through the triple combination. Oh, and that was a bad mistake by the rider. Sophie just pushed at it too much. I think maybe worrying about number 11, which it really jumped quite high over.
Time of 91-42, that's 4 time faults, 8 jumping. Total de 12 points de pénalité, 4 de temps, 8 de saut pour Sophie Nio and Serena. Le chrono de 91-42, 91-42 showing on the clock. Number 171 is next in the order. This is Jersey. Jersey's ridden by Stephanie Gallucci from Toronto. An entry of Equine Partners International LLC of Florida.
Yeah, Stephanie's a great rider. Mostly now living in the States, I think, in Florida. And this is a horse to watch. If it jumps clean, I don't think there's a faster one in the field here today. As you can see right away, it picks up the first beat of the canter and it's off and running. Beautiful gallop, high head balance. And let's see if she can deliver a clear and get into that jump off. Horse is getting a little strong, but I think Stephanie knows how to deal with it. She just hangs on, and the horse is allergic to the rails so far. Big stride, but it bounces off the ground. And like I said, the horse thinks it's already in the jump off. And jumps through the triple a little bit too quick, a little bit, but it's so careful. It just wants to miss the jumps. And if she just has lots of contact off the ground, I'm sure she doesn't need much leg, and the horse just jumps clean.
As Jay said, quickly through the back of the course, and the clock shows it 76.93. 7.6 and 9.3 on the clock, the fastest we've seen today in this first round.
And I think she thought she was in the jump off there.
Well, keep some of that energy for the jump off. You'll need it. That was a clear round. Parcours sans faute en 76.93 for Stephanie Gallucci at Jersey. Le quatrième qui reviendra au barrage. Fourth now for the jump off.
Looks like it's shaping up to be a nice jump off on the big field.
Certainly does, and unfortunate scratch. I see here Golden Boy and Lauren will not be joining us today.
Lauren is already back on her way back to Toronto. She went in the Grand Prix yesterday, had not quite the round she wanted, and regrouped and went in the meter 25 this morning and jumped around double clean, so she'll save it for next week.
Right on. 361 is next, the 361. This is Langley, the entry of Ariel Grange, second ride for Hyde Moffat. Langley's an 8-year-old Canadian warm-blood mare.
Yeah, Lothlorien breeds a lot of horses, and they've got a good bunch coming along, and Hyde does a wonderful job working with them and bringing them up to the level that we see here today and beyond. So the winner of yesterday's Grand Prix, I think first and second yesterday, and a non-jump-off course. And let's see how hungry Hyde is for today. We talked about the format a little bit yesterday, and the last 2 weeks, the number of horses in Ontario are at the moment aren't great. They're coming later in the season to jump at the Major League and the star-rated horse shows. And in Europe and South America, they often have 2 rounds and then a jump off. And maybe we got to look into that more around here.
It would be great to see the development and the up and coming horses, but we do have a great group of up and coming athletes right now.
Yeah, we do, and they're coming, and it takes a little bit of time. And the grass is, like I said, the grass. We don't see the grass much. We need this. We need to have it here. We need to have this field here to bring along those good horse and rider combinations.
So, as Jay mentioned, the Major League coming up. So make sure that's in your calendar end of August here at the Wesley Clover Parks. Keep an eye on the calendar.
And it looks like we have another one clean. Hyde delivers for us again.
Crossing the line, 81.22 in the time, and a clear round for Hyde Moffat and Langley. Parcours sans faute, so Hyde has 2 now in the jump off. Final 3 now for this first round of the Mark Motors Modified Grand Prix, les derniers 3, starting with number 497, Lugano, Brook Street Stables Corporation entry, and Karen Sparks.
Listen, we can't say enough about Karen and the effort she's put into rebuilding this park and making it great. And she wears a lot of hats, and here she is trying to compete, and I know how that feels. Let's see if she can clear her head and deliver us a clear round. The horse is jumping quite good. Karen seems relaxed. Nice flow. Nice job so far. We're early in the course, but looks great. Way up over that combination. That's a beautiful jump. And again, the horse looks down a little bit at the Liverpool and goes past the distance and has it down with the front end. I think Karen is largely responsible for all these beautiful jumps we have in the ring. And every year they keep getting better and better and better. And it's so important for modern show jumping. That's really a shame that it had that rail down, because the horse is really looking quite nice. Inside the decoration to save a little time, and
that was a 4-fault ride in 80.71 for Karen Sparks and Lugano. 4 points de pénalité de saut, 80-71 au chrono. That puts Karen into 7th place on the leaderboard.
Yeah, nice job. She went inside a couple places and saved a little bit of time to get a little of that prize money back in her pocket.
249, first of 2 remaining now in the first round. Le 249 sur le parcours, première de 2. Le premier de deux pour compléter la première ronde. Paul Halpern du groupe Zaka Incorporé avec Cornet Lady. Cornet Lady is an 11-year-old Oldenburg mare. Was fourth in last week's modified.
Yeah, Paul won last week's Grand Prix. Beautiful ride last week. And this horse is very consistent, very careful. Paul's a beautiful rider. Let's see what he can do here today. Yeah, looked, saw that water jump way in the distance, spooked a little bit, but Paul made her focus on the jump. And jumping quite nice. It's a mare, has lots of character, swishing her tail all over the place, but normally a real trier. Yeah, you have to ride that. I thought he rode that a little too hard. I don't know if she's backing up too much, but he really attacked that jump like it was his enemy. We know the jumps have to be your friends. Nicely through the triple combination, a little tight in the hind end, but cleared all the three obstacles. And again, Paul pushed really hard at the color jump, the little spooky jump, and the horse had it down.
And Paul Halpern home with Cornet Lady in 76 seconds, 76.93. And that's with 8 faults, 9th right now on the leaderboard, so he's in the ribbons. With just one more to jump, and we have 5 so far that have gone clear and will return for the jump off. 5 qui reviendront au barrage. One final chance to add their name to that list for number 139. This is Jade Lalonde, owner and rider of Capital Creation. It's a 9-year-old Zangescheide gelding.
I don't know this horse so well, but it's trained and owned by Yves Breton, and he's doing quite a lot of dealing in Europe. So let's see what he's come up with. I believe his daughter lives in Belgium, and so he's got a good source over there. You can't get much better than that. Horse has a nice cadence, good gallop, high head carriage, and scopy. Just showed a lot of scope over fence number 4, just a plain vertical. A little bit of its own style, but it jumps really high. She might think about the time allowed. She's taking a little bit too much time with the horse here and there. A little deep coming in. Yeah, 3 strides and no chance. Very unfortunate.
Very unfortunate fall here. As Jay mentioned to our folks at home, came in a bit long in that first effort over the Oxer.
She got a little bit deep coming in, and the horse really tried, but you can't do a 3 and a 2 and then expect to get out.
Almost had it, but again, unfortunate. And how about a nice round of applause for the rider? It's a long, lonely walk from the back of the course.
Yeah, it's too bad. The horse was really jumping quite high, its own style, but nice balance and good scope and very careful, and I think they have a great future in front of them.
So we come to the course adjustment now for the jump-off. Marina Acevedo and her crew will prepare the course for the jump-off. That was the final ride in round 1 of the Marc Motors Grand Prix Modifié. For those of you at home, thank you for joining us. If you're here live and you joined us recently, don't forget you can call your friends at home, let them know they can watch live as well. Just go to the tournament's webpage. You'll find a link there to the live broadcast, the live coverage. That'll take you to the Digital Equestrian app, and then you can watch live. Digital Equestrian, our partners this year, bringing us all the live coverage.
5 clean today. It should be a nice, exciting jump-off. Jeff, who's your favorite?
Well, let's go through the list here, Jay. We have the first in the ring today, Miss Peggy Sue. Vanessa Robert was very happy with her clear ride. Ariel Grange's Jeffrey Jardin and Hyde Moffat, they were clear in their first ride. Beatrice Davio will be back with Levaro under the watchful eye of François Lamontagne. The fourth clear we saw was Beatrice Davio and Levaro. Stephanie Gallucci and Jersey will also be back.
But you didn't answer my question, Jeff. Who do you pick to win?
Who do I pick to win? Okay, let's have a look at this. Maybe Hyde Moffat and Langley. Give them their big win here in the big moment in the arena.
Yeah, Hyde is a competitor. He's always trying to win. He's a professional, and he's going at it, but my pick is Stephanie.
Okay, well, we'll watch and see. There's no money on it, folks. So during the break right now, we have a very special presentation coming up. You see the ribbons coming into the arena. Welcome Tracy Howard back into the ring with Mike Lawrence, our show manager and show assistant manager. Marble Hill Farm, a perennial supporter of the events here at Ottawa. Present the U25 Circuit Award. The U25 Marble Hill Farm Jumper Bonus and Circuit Award back for 2022 with $10,000 in bonuses up for grabs courtesy of Marble Hill Farm. U25 riders must register to be eligible for the Marble Hill Farm U25 Circuit Award visit. They must come to OttawaEquestrianTournaments.com. A big thank you to Marble Hill Farm for highlighting our U25 competitors. U25, of course, stands for under 25. For this U25 season, congratulations to the recipients of the 2022 Marble Hill Jumper Bonus. First prize of $5,000 goes to Lauren Esdale, who rode Viamdios d'Avril. Top bonus here from Marble Hill Farm. Second was Reine Dubois, who rode Dublin, and she receives a bonus award of $3,500. And Lauren Esdale with Ilko was third, so big day for Lauren. First and third in the series, so she takes home $6,500. Over the 2 weeks of the Ottawa Summer Tournaments, Lauren and Reine collected the most points in eligible classes, including the Meter 40 Marble Hill Farm Junior Amateur Division feature jumper classes. With many talented U25 riders registered, this was no easy feat. Thank you once again to Marble Hill Farm for putting a spotlight on these young athletes, presenting the $10,000 bonus split across the top 3 placings. So on behalf of the Ottawa Tournaments and on behalf of all the riders, thank you very much to Marble Hill Farm. Down to Tracy on the field of play.
Congratulations, ladies. Lauren, great job today. First and third in the under 25 standings. And how does it feel, because you did so well last week as well, how does it feel to have gotten this, this great rider bonus here in Ottawa?
Well, it feels amazing, honestly. I think this bonus is such an amazing thing. I know a lot of shows don't really do something like this, and no, it's been an amazing 2 weeks, and I couldn't be happier. This is a really good way to finish it off.
Well, thank you for adding us to your competition calendar. We know that there are lots of horse shows to choose from, so thanks for coming to Ottawa. And Rain, you've had a great, successful season this year. I think you won our Welcome Grand Prix, and then you've done extraordinarily well in the last 2 weeks. Thanks so much for joining us. How does it feel to be still good? Runner-up is still pretty special. Nice bonus. How does it feel?
Absolutely, Tracy. I mean, to piggyback on Lauren's comment, it's such a wonderful thing that Marble Hill does for under 25 riders and supporting youth. So it's obviously an honor, and I'm always happy to show here at the park. I used to train and compete here many moons ago. My God, it feels like forever, and I love coming to this horse show. And my God, I mean, so many people have said it, the improvements here, the show is just, it's wonderful to be here. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you, ladies. You know, we couldn't do it without you guys, the competitors, the staff. We couldn't do it without the spectators coming back. I'm just going to take a moment, Jeff, to thank the village that it takes to do this. You can see our crew here, our jump crew, back of house, led by Duncan Oswald, our show manager, Mike Lawrence. We just couldn't put this 2 weeks on, or in fact, the entire season. We've got a fabulous course decorator. She's Evie Frisk, our own in-house Levko Molina. The list just goes on and on. Randy Harquail, Rob Wright. I want to thank everybody. Kira here, who has been such a fantastic aid in doing all of our presentations. And of course, to Karen Sparks, our executive director. None of us would have this experience, so I wanted to thank everyone. Thank you, ladies. Back up to you, Jeff. I think we're almost ready for the jump off.
Thank you, Tracy, and that thanks, of course, going out around the world on our live coverage. We've had a few hundred people watching the action today, and thank you once again to Jay Hayes for stepping in very suddenly into the broadcast booth up here. Canadian Olympian, represented Canada in 2000 in the Olympic Games. Owner and manager of Northridge Farm in the beautiful Hockley Valley, one of the preeminent training centers in Ontario.
And Jeff, you know how beautiful our valley is.
Indeed. So it looks like the crew has put the final touches on the course for Marina Acevedo, our course designer. We were talking about the World Equestrian Games earlier. We're really, really pleased to see that we have Amy here with us today, who will be going to the games earlier in the week. We had Jessica Phoenix. She's an eventer who is also going to go to the Olympic Games to represent Canada. She was here getting the horse tuned up for the trip over to Europe.
Yeah, it's nice to have Jessica. She's really serious about her sport, and as Jeff, as you know, it's very difficult. 3 days, 3 different ways. And she's really trying to learn the craft of show jumping as opposed to cross country, which is quite difficult to do.
It was, and actually we saw that here. She qualified for jump-offs. The horses in eventing, of course, don't go to a jump-off. That's just their third day of competition, but she held her own here.
Sam Pegg and I had the pleasure of helping her, and we wish her all the luck in the future. And Amy, she's going to knock it dead with Team Canada at the World Championships with the rest of our Canadian team, and we wish them all the best luck, and they'll bring home, I'm sure, a medal.
I certainly hope so in all disciplines. So just waiting to hear from our in-gate to see where our crew is or our jumpers are in their warm-up phase. They warm up on the fiber arena and then make their way down to the grass. The way the warm-up works here at the Ottawa tournaments, the riders have 2 places to warm up under the supervision of the stewards. They come down to the grass area. They may or may not take a final jump. I don't know how you view that, Jay, but most of the riders, I think, do take a final jump on the grass before they come into the ring after warming up on the fiber.
Yeah, most of the riders are jumping, starting off up in the sand ring, and they jump up to oxer, and then they'll come down and jump most of them will jump a vertical or two down in the grass just to get them a little bit acclimated to the grass.
It's a beautiful place here in Ottawa, and they've made that possible as well, giving the riders all the warm-up they need on both surfaces.
And I hear they break ground next week for yet another all-weather ring, which will just help the flow around here a little bit, and it's turning into a world-class facility if it's not already there.
So that arena hopefully will be christened for the Major League coming here. It's a great new series. It'll be a week of 5-star jumping here in Ottawa, something you shouldn't miss the end of August.
Historically, we've had some Olympic qualifiers here, World Cup qualifiers here. We've had some great jumping, great course designers, but I believe we've never had 5-star jumping here in Ottawa. It's quite new. I'm sure the quality of jumping in the past was 5-star, but now it's labeled such.
Well, great. So we'll see some of the top in the world maybe here, and the 24th to 28th of August is the date. So make sure you put that in your calendars. Keep checking online for the tickets and the conditions of the competition coming up. Right now we're focused on this competition, and Mark Motors, our sponsors. Mark Motors, Ottawa's leading luxury car dealership, whose showrooms house an impressive inventory of Porsches and Audi models. For fast service and great vehicles to buy or lease, choose Mark Motors Group.
All right, I need Vanessa down the hill, please. Vanessa down the hill, please.
As Tracy mentioned, it takes a village to run these shows and make things happen. The ring crew up early in the morning, and they're here late after we leave, setting up for the next day for their course designers. Avery in the in-booth keeping things rolling for us, bringing the horses down under the watchful eye of Mike Lawrence, a show manager, assisted by Duncan Oswald. I neglected to introduce the judges to you before we started. Kathy Harper is the chief judge up here in the tower. Gail Prest joining her for the major classes in competition this week. Both weeks, in fact, for the jury up here in the booth. And as we mentioned to the folks at home, they get the pleasure of listening to Canadian Olympian covering the color of the rides while the riders are on course. The conditions for this jump-off are governed by our national federation, Equestrian Canada, and that calls for the riders to return to the arena in the same order that they qualified. The only change might be if a rider lower in the order volunteers to move up. As we wait the first, now actually walking up to the gate, à la porte d'entrée, la première pour le barrage, le 572, 572. Miss Peggy Sue and Vanessa Robert, des écuries La Montée.
Vanessa's a good pro, hard-working family. They have many students, many riders, and they work quite hard. Ride good. Let's see what she can do here today on this 14-year-old Belgian war about gelding. Yeah, pardon, we don't have anything on this mare, but great gallop. A little bit slow in the air, slow off the ground to the first jump. Very rideable, very good technique, very good balance, very careful, very brave, but I'm afraid a little bit slow. But with 5 in the jump off, a double clean sometimes will finish in the top 1 or 2. Long gallop to the last fence, a little bit conservative.
Time of 50.41, 50-41 le chrono pour Miss Peggy Sue et Vanessa Robert, clear in the jump off. So there's the early challenge. As we mentioned yesterday in the Grand Prix, you're first in the jump off, you've got to go for it. You're in it to win it.
Yeah, you have to weigh your choices, and you want to deliver an efficient, clean round and put the pressure on the other riders.
And here's a rider that's no stranger to pressure. Hyde Moffat here with Ariel Grange's Jeffrey Jardin, second for the jump off. Le deuxième pour le barrage.
Looks like a real sport model. I know Hyde's had a little trouble with this horse having too much energy this week, last 2 weeks, and let's see if he's got him calm enough so he can contain all that energy and deliver a fast, clean round. A little too much character between 1 and 2, and played over fence number 2, had it down. Little bend in that line to put the 6 in. And makes a nice dash to the last jump.
And speedy approach to the last, 41.69 for Jeffrey Jardin and Hyde Moffat. 41.69 avec 4 points de pénalité. 4 faults on that ride, puts him into second place right now. Unfortunately, 2 came down. Le 2 a tombé au barrage pour Hyde Moffat et Jeffrey Jardin pour les 4 points de pénalité for the 4 faults showing on the board.
Yeah, really nice up-and-coming horse. I love his style, and I think Hyde's going to have some great fun on this horse.
Moving on to the third now in the order, number 388, le 388, troisième pour le barrage, Béatrice Davio avec Les Varros.
This horse jumped great in the first round. Canter, and let's see if Beatrice really lets the horse move on and jump a little bit today. Nice and forward down the first line. Horses have to spook a little bit at the rose over there, that decoration on the ground. Just lengthened the stride a little bit to the long distance, and the horse got a little uncareful in front. And again, the same thing happens. The horse is going to have to learn, Beatrice is going to have to learn how to move up to the distance and not be so long.
8 jumping faults in a time of 44.62, 8 points de pénalité en 44.62.
Yeah, a nice horse. It's a beautiful gallop, very nicely broke, good technique. But when you lengthen to the long distance, that spells 4 faults. And she got a couple times she had to move forward, and the horse got a little flat and had it down. She has to learn how to keep that package together and let the horse jump up and around those jumps.
So awaiting the arrival of the next in the order, looking for Stephanie Gallucci to join us with Jay's pick, Jersey. And then that will give Hyde Moffat a little more time to warm up his second ride for the jump off. So he's working on Langley.
Right now I'm looking for Stephanie. Stephanie down the hill, please.
So word from our stewards that the next rider is making her way down from the hill down to the final area in the grass. That's Stephanie Gallucci. And Jersey, the entry of Equine Partners International, LLC. And Jay, you liked her first ride. Speedy little thing.
I think the horse is naturally fast. It's extremely careful. It's quick off the ground. It doesn't spend any time in the air. And it'll be very hard for Hyde. It'll be very hard for Hyde to catch this one, I think.
Well, let's just hope rails stay up for her and the speedy little devil can get around the course and see him walking up to the gate now. Final words from her coach as she comes up to the gate. Trains with Renato Davita. The Equine Partners International LLC entry at the gate, Jersey, and Stephanie Gallucci, le numéro 471.
So now the only one remaining in the jump off is Hyde on his second ride. And then the ride for the next one, the top 8.
And this kind of horse, you don't have to ask it to go fast. As a matter of fact, you have to make it go slow, because if you push at it, you're asking for trouble. You just have to allow it to win. Don't ask it to win. Very quick off the ground, very careful. Even jumps the left-hand side of the standard there to make it a little faster. And even pushed at the long distance and got away with it. The horse is just so naturally careful that, and she's going to come screaming down to this last jump. And let's hope, no, that's a very nice ride. Beautiful ride. And I think that's your winner.
Well, that nice ride paid off, 39.73 for Stephanie Gallucci. And Jersey, 39.73 pour Stephanie. Et en première place à ce moment, there's the challenge for Hyde, warming up his second ride now. Hyde Moffat with Ariel Grange's Langley will be the final entry in the arena. Nice horse to watch, Jay.
Just a naturally fast horse, quick off the ground, quick in the air, even pushed at the long distance and got away with it. This is the type of horse that you have to allow to win. You don't have to ask it to win, because if you ask it to win, it goes too fast. Hyde's warming up his last horse, and I think he stands a good chance to put the pressure on, leave out a few strides here and there, and leave all the jumps up. I know he's always a competitor, and he'll give it his best shot.
Well, in his first ride, he was only, a second and a half slower than Stephanie, so he knows the pace he needs, and he'll come in and give it his best. a true athlete. He's working toward an Ironman, I think he said in his interview when he won the last class. Wants to do a marathon or an Ironman competition. Spends his mornings here. Actually, he's been running almost 40 kilometers down into Ottawa to the Blues Festival and then back.
A lot of energy, and let's see if he has some to give it in the jump off.
So again, just awaiting Hyde Moffat with his second ride. He's making his way down from the hill. And I think we've told you everything there is to say about this fantastic facility. Coming to the final ride of 2 weeks of very exciting show jumping here in Ottawa.
And the grass looks great. And with the sun and the heat and a few days off, it'll recover, and they'll be mowing it quickly, just like they're doing the hay next door. And it'll be beautiful for the next Major League competition in a few weeks.
No doubt, just like a golf course, as we welcome the last for this jump off and the final chance to take home the lion's share of the prize. Hyde Moffat with Ariel Grange's Langley. Time to beat is 39.73. Le temps à battre 39.73. Pour le 361, Hyde Moffat et Langley.
Yeah, the horse very quick off the ground. Again, they go around that rose. They spook a little bit. Hyde's pushing at it. He can push at this horse a little bit. Again, the bending 6, and he's going to take it. Oh, he went inside. I thought he was going to go inside there. He looked. Pushing again. That can get you into trouble, but the horse hind end is way up over. And we're coming to the last jump, and he's got to keep going. And I think we have a new leader.
Wow, right to the end. Another win under the belt for Hyde Moffat, this time with Langley in 37.83.
The horse really responded well. He kept pushing at it quite hard, and instead of getting flat, the horse jumped up higher. Good job, Hyde. Very nice round.
Very well paced again for Hyde Moffat and Langley. Winner of yesterday's Grand Prix, a repeat performance today. Gagnant du Grand Prix hier, il gagne encore une fois aujourd'hui. So we'll get ready for the awards presentation coming up next, la remise des rubans et des prix. On behalf of Mark Motors, our very generous sponsors, again, Mark Motors, Ottawa's leading luxury car dealership, sponsoring this $10,000 modified Grand Prix. Moffat will just step to the gate right now. The horse will be dressed with a cooler, and he'll be right back in for a quick interview before we move on to the presentations and photos. It's my pleasure and honor to welcome Leslie Mies, General Manager, will be accompanied by Mike Lawrence here in the arena to present the awards today on behalf of Mark Motors. Top 8 will return for the awards presentation today. And heading the parade coming into the arena. Welcome once again your winner today. Top honors to Hyde Moffat with Ariel Grange's Langley. Lothlorien Farms in Cheltenham producing horses for many, many years, ridden by many champions.
Field. Why don't you share a little bit about what it's been like to win so many times in Ottawa?
I'd say it's a real privilege each and every time we're able to come here. It's certainly a privilege to win on this field. I remember coming here when I was a junior many, many years ago and getting to watch the best Canadian show jumpers do their thing. So to be able to now have a turn at doing those same things, really, it's a bit of a dream come true.
Anything to say about your mount today, Langley?
She's really turned out to be a fantastic horse. She's the true definition of a homebred. Her mother went to the World Equestrian Games under Jan Condell as a Lothlorien horse, and her father jumped with Connor Swale, also for Lothlorien. So she really is a homebred, and it's quite fantastic to be able to see them grow up from the time they hit the ground, and every time they make a new step or learn something new, it's really quite rewarding.
I think it's pretty fantastic and remarkable to have a Canadian-bred horse win here today with you, Hyde. Thank you. We look to see you next year, adding Ottawa to your competition calendar. And to everybody out there, we want to especially congratulate Hyde on a milestone here in Ottawa. For our group, this is the biggest horse show that Wesley Clover Parks has ever hosted. So again, thank you to everybody that made that happen, and thank you very much, Hyde.
Thank you.
So moving on to the awards presentation again, on behalf of everyone, thank you to Mark Motors Group here for the Modified Grand Prix, a $10,000 purse. Leslie Mies, General Manager, accompanied by Mike Lawrence here at the Winner's Circle, presenting the sash and ribbon to our winner, Hyde Moffat and Langley. And Jay, is this a horse you'd like to take home to your stables?
This is my kind of ride. Yeah, this is my kind of ride, this horse, and Stephanie's done a great job with it, and she has a lot of fun out there, so it's so nice to see. And yeah, next time she'll go a little faster.
And Jay's selection for the win today coming up next. Jersey, it's Stephanie Gallucci. Second place, deuxième place, le 171. Stephanie Gallucci avec Jersey, qui a complété le barrage en 39-73, 39-7-3. Just a couple of seconds behind Hyde Moffat as Hyde moves off now for the photo. We'll continue with the prizes here in the lineup. Second place, Stephanie Gallucci receiving her ribbon from Mark Motors. Rode Jersey in the competition this weekend. Third place goes to Vanessa Robert, la troisième place. Miss Peggy Sue, first in the ring today, who went clear and came back for the jump off. Third place in a jump off of 50.41 seconds. Hyde Moffat back to the winner's circle. He was fourth, quatrième place. Hyde Moffat with Jeffrey Jardin. La cinquième place, fifth place, le 388, Béatrice Tavio, Levaro Z. Sixth place was Kelly Robinson on Foolproof. Will be accepted by her stand-in, Christine Wiggins. Kelly excused from the awards presentation, and Christine picking the ribbon up on her behalf. Christine, who herself placed 8th in this class with Caballero 2. So Christine will take home ribbons 6 and 8. And the 7th place winner at the arena now, Karen Sparks joining us. Lugano decided that he'd had enough of the grass ring, did not want to come in for the awards. So on foot today, CEO of the Wesley Clover Parks, director of this event. Thank you, Karen, on behalf of every rider, and congratulations. And it's Hyde Moffat's turn one more time to lead the Galop de la Victoire.
Thanks again, everybody. Really appreciate it. Those of you that watched on live stream, those of you in the hospitality tent. Thank you, and we will see you in August for Major League.
So once again, thanks everybody. A final chance for you to salute the champion, Hyde Moffat. 2 Grand Prix here this weekend. Merci à tous de votre assistance au concours, aux 2 tournées Ottawa. We complete our weekend here in Ottawa with this final victory gallop. Don't forget, 24th to the 28th of August, the Major League. Some amazing show jumping. Some of the top jumpers in the world with their horses will be here for a full week of 5-star jumping. Unprecedented competition coming to Ottawa. Thank you to our judges, Kathy Harper and Gail Prest. Enjoy your afternoon and a safe drive home. Thank you very much to Mark Motors Group, sponsors of the modified Grand Prix today. And thank you to all our sponsors this weekend, sponsoring prizes and classes throughout the competition. And to all the champions, enjoy your horseware red coolers.